Okay, so we're on exercise 8. This is video 2 in our series for exercise 8. The first video, we sorted our transactions into which journal we would record each transaction in. And this video, we're going to be recording only the cash receipts journal transactions. So we have a look and we see the name of the company. So we are going to be drawing up the cash receipts journal of Ibrahim Caterers for June 2020. So we have a look at our heading. We want to do the cash receipts journal of name of business, Ibrahim Caterers, dash, June, month, year, 2020. June is the 6th month, so our code would be CRJ 6. We are filling in analysis columns for analysis of receipts, bank, current income, and sundry accounts. If we look at the first transaction, Ibrahim inherited 1 million rand from a very wealthy uncle. It was decided to invest 80% of the inheritance in a catering business, Ibrahim Caterers. Receipt 001 was issued. We are given our receipt number 001. We are given the day 1. So if we start, we look at the doc number column. We can fill in the receipt number. We can fill in the day. Details. Who has given the business money? And when we read the transaction, we can see it's the owner, Ibrahim. We then need to work out how much money is being invested into the business. So you'd have to get your calculator out, and we're going to have to do 1 million rand times 80%, so 0.80, and it's easy enough, but just make sure you do it on your calculator. You have the correct amount of zeros for million, and when we multiply it by 0.80, we get 800,000. That is how much money is invested in the business. What do we call it when the owner invests money in the business? Capital. So we're going to record 800,000 rand. We have a look. It's the end of day 1. Do we receive any more money on day 1? No, we do not receive any more money on day 1. So you get out your ruler. We are going to underline analysis of receipts. We then deposit that money into our bank account. Remember, we only go to the bank once a day. We don't go after each transaction. Imagine if you went to go purchase groceries from Pick n Pay, and after each customer, the teller who was ringing up the purchases closed the till, took the money, went to their car, drove to the bank, stood in a queue, deposited the money into the bank account, drove back to the business, got out, unlocked the till, got ready for the next customer, processed their transactions, locked the till, hopped in their car, drove to the bank. That's impossible. So the business adds up all the money they receive for the day, and they deposit the total of that day's receipts and cash register slips into the bank. What do we call it when the owner invests money in the business? Capital. There's no column for capital, so we record it in sundry accounts. We then have a look for our next transaction involving the cash receipts journal. On day 4, cash received for services rendered. When we receive money for services rendered, we have the cash register roll, CRR. We're on day 4, and we need to have a look and see what does the transaction say. Cash received for services rendered, so we write services rendered under details. How much money do we receive? We receive 22,500. Do we receive more money on day 4? We have a look. No, there's only one transaction on day 4. So it's the end of the day. Get out our ruler. We deposit the amount of money that we've received for the day into our bank accounts. Services rendered is called current income in accounting, so we're going to deposit that into the current income account. It has its own column, so it doesn't go to sundry. We then are going to have a look for our very next transaction. Day 11. Yeah, we can see there are 3 transactions for the cash receipts journal. Westerford High School approached Ibrahim caterers to cater for their annual matric dance. Ibrahim caterers quoted them 260 Rand per head. Westerford High School of 320 matrics including partners. Received the check for the amount due from Westerford High School, receipt issued. We are a catering business and we are being asked to cater a function. So we are providing a service. Normally, we would record this as source document being cash register roll, and under details we would write services rendered. But they have told us we have issued a receipt. So we need to use the receipt. Who have we issued the receipt to? Westerford High School. 002. This is happening on day 11. Westerford High School. I'm just going to squeeze this on one line. How much money do we receive from Westerford High School? So we need to do a calculation. 260 Rand per head times 320 people will give us, if you use your calculator, an amount of 83,200. We are going to record that in our analysis of receipts column. Do we receive more money on day 11? Yes, there are 2 more transactions, so we do not deposit that into our bank account. What is that money for? It's for current income because we have provided a service. So this transaction is a little bit different to normal in that normally we would have cash register roll, services rendered for current income whenever we provide a service. But in this case, on day 11, we were told that a receipt was issued, and if you are told that a receipt was issued, you would have to insert the receipt number. 2 follows after 1. And whenever it's a receipt, you would write down the name of the person. If you don't have a name of a person, it would be the name of the company that you've received the money from. The next transaction on day 11, the owner decided to increase the capital contribution by 15%. We look back and we see 800,000 was invested in the business as capital. We are now going to increase that by 15%. So we're going to do a calculation. 800,000 times 15, so 0.15, or times 15 divided by 100. And you use your calculator and you will get 120,000. Okay, if I had to do this in my head, 10%, I would remove a 0. So 10% would be 80,000. 5% would be half of 10%. So half of 80,000 is 40,000. 80,000 plus 40,000 is 120,000. So receipt number 003. We know the name of the owner. It's N. Ibrahim. We are receiving 120,000 Rand. Do we receive more money on day 11? Yes, we do. So we do not deposit it into our bank account yet. What is the money for? The owner is increasing their capital, so it goes to sundry account as capital. We're still on day 11. Part of the building is rented to N Valley. Received the check for the rent for June and July. Rent amounts to 66,000 per annum. Per annum means per year. So we need to divide 60,000 Rand by 12 because there are 12 months in the year. So we divide it by 12 and you should get 5,500. But we are not receiving the rent for 1 month. We are receiving it for 2 months. So we are going to multiply that by 2 and you get 11,000. That's how much rent we are receiving in June. N Valley is the person that is giving us the money. So Receipt number 004 in Valley, 11,000 Rand is received. It's the end of day 11. We don't receive any more money. So we get our ruler out. We underline analysis of receipts. Okay. We're going to add the three values together to get the total amount that we received, and that is deposited in our bank account. So 83,200 plus 120,000 plus 11,000 gives me 214,200. What is that 11,000 for? It's for rent. So it's going to go in sundry. If we receive money, would that be an income or an expense? Hopefully, you know that's an income, so it's rent income, not rent expense. We are receiving money in the cash receipts journal. We then have a look and see, are there any more transactions for the cash receipts journal? Yes, there is. Day 19, cash received for services rendered. When we receive money for cash, CRR, day 19, services rendered, we receive 11,500. Do we receive any more money on day 19? No, we don't. So we're going to get out the ruler, we underline analysis of receipts, we deposit that money in our bank account. What is it for? What do we call services rendered in accounting? Current income. It's now the end of the month, and we need to add up all the money columns in our journal. So we go from bank to sundry. So the line goes on top and the line goes at the bottom, making sure that we don't underline analysis of receipts. We're not totaling analysis of receipts. We have already deposited all the different receipts and cash register rolls into our bank account. So bank is the one that we're going to total. So we get out our calculator, 800,000 plus 22,500 plus 214,200 plus 11,500, and we get 1,048,200. We add current income up, so 22,500 plus 83,200 plus 11,500, and we get, 117,000 Rand and 200. 117,200 Rands. We then add sundry, so 800,000 plus 120,000 plus 11,000, and we get 931,000. We then want to check that we've added up correctly. So the total of bank should equal the total of the other columns added up. So 117,200 plus 931,000 gives me 1,048,200. So we're happy that they balance. That's our CRJ done.